Okay, what is up, everybody? We are going to be talking about the Cancer full moon and lunar eclipse that is happening on the 10th of January, 2020. And then we have the Saturn Pluto conjunction that is happening 2 days after. Saturn and Pluto are currently together, as you can see over here in the chart. Saturn and Pluto are both at 22 degrees, so they're already together. They're already conjunct, but they're going to be exact on 2 days, in 2 days after the full moon on the 12th. So we're going to go through all of this energy and just talk about what the fuck's going on in the world right now. What could be coming up, what you could be experiencing with this Cancer full moon and lunar eclipse, and then, you know, the Saturn Pluto conjunction. We've been building up to that all year. So it's probably an energy that you have been felt coming. Yeah, it's like there's a weight, a heaviness to the times that we're in. So let's talk about it. Okay, so to start with this full moon, as you can see, the full moon this is what makes it a full moon, when the sun and the moon are exactly opposing each other. So the full moon is happening at 20 degrees of Cancer. Got the full moon here, the moon at 20 degrees of Cancer, and then we have all of these planets here in Capricorn. So we have the sun and Mercury conjunct. We've got Saturn and Pluto all in Capricorn. We have Jupiter and South Node together in Capricorn as well. So Jupiter and the South Node are together. The sun and the moon are exactly together, and then Saturn and Pluto are exactly together. So there is a lot of Capricorn energy right now, and what that could feel like. Capricorn is an earth sign. It's the grounded, stable, solid earth energy that wants self-mastery, right? Capricorn is associated with the Saturn energy. The planet Saturn and Capricorn, they go together, they belong together, and this energy wants you to face your shit, to take responsibility. Saturn is the planet of our life lesson. So when we have our Saturn return, you know, every 28 or so years, so your first Saturn return is like a coming of age. It's like initiation into adulthood. 28, 29, 30, you go through this experience, and at that time you're really being asked to mature, to grow up, to level up, to face responsibilities, to take accountability, and to just own the reality that you're in, as Saturn rules our physical reality. So with all of this Capricorn energy, there could be a feeling of just like the weight of this energy. Saturn and Capricorn, it can feel very restrictive, very like held back or restrained or like pressed down in some way. It's like almost an oppressive energy. Ultimately, the high expression of this energy is to be in alignment with what your dharmic path is, with what you're here to do, the service that you're here to provide, and what it is that you're wanting to share with the world. So having so much in Capricorn, I mean, I'll go through it all and break it down, having like each of these planets in Capricorn, but to just have that much concentrated Capricorn energy, yeah, it can feel very serious and very heavy. Like we need to make a decision. We need to own all the parts of ourselves. We need to face responsibility, take accountability for where we're at in our lives right now. And with the full moon being in Cancer, so, you know, we just have the moon over here in the North Node in Cancer being opposed by all this heavy Capricorn energy. And so full moons are a time of releasing, and a time of harvesting. It's like a time of completion. And so not only is this a full moon, but it's also a lunar eclipse. So that intensifies this energy even more. Eclipses, you're gonna be feeling the effects for many months after and months before it actually happens. So these are lasting changes that we're making right now. And with the moon being in Cancer, Cancer rules is the opposite of Capricorn. So Capricorn's about, you know, being out in the world and having discipline and structure and getting things done on this material practical level. And then the Cancer energy is internal, it's water. Cancer is nonverbal, it's feelings. And so along with the Cancer energy is, you know, it rules the mother, it rules the childhood, it rules childhood wounds and trauma and the imprints that we can receive being a child, being in the womb space, maybe carrying it over from many lifetimes. As Cancer also rules our homelands, it rules our ancestry, our lineage. So it goes deeper than just what you've been moving through in this lifetime. But I'm feeling like with this full moon and eclipse, and then it's just kind of lumped together with the Saturn Pluto conjunction. I mean, this conjunction could happen at any time. It just so happens that it's like 2 days after this eclipse. So with this full moon happening first, I feel like it's a huge release. It's a huge releasing in regards to our emotional body, right? Cancer, the full moon in Cancer in relationship to our emotions and stored emotions. And so, yeah, so I feel like it's releasing a lot of stuck emotions, and that could show up like in our lives, like we're having really big endings take place right now, simultaneously then entering into a really huge beginning. But in order to go through that process, in order to go through that period, we have to be okay with what's needing to be released at this time. So the Cancer energy, the low road of Cancer, it could look like, you know, not feeling safe, not feeling loved, not feeling supported, not feeling nurtured. It could show up like codependent tendencies. I'm feeling like that's a really big thing at this time, like codependency and not wanting to do the work to reparent yourself and to nurture yourself in the ways that you expect other people to be there for you. Like all of this Capricorn energy here it doesn't want to be in its emotions. It wants you to commit to what your truth is. And it wants you to break free from shit that's been holding you back, like maybe these stuck emotional stories that are keeping you in the same patterns and holding on to the same things outside of you to give you a false sense of safety. And to go off of the breaking free, we have Uranus, the planet that is the great liberator. It's here to help us to break free, to shake up the stuck energy. It's the most unpredictable planet, brings chaos, disruptions, disturbances. It ultimately, it's like an electric energy. It wants to, wants to just bring you the realizations, the downloads, the insights, the clarity, like the aha moments, so you can see, like the lights flash on, you can see what it is you need, and then you make those changes on this physical level. So Uranus goes direct on the day of this full moon. So that's another huge aspect that we have happening. Like Uranus and Taurus, we're really getting clear on what our values are. Taurus is the sign of your self-worth and your value, how you value yourself, your ability to take care of yourself and to provide for your own basic needs. If you don't feel safe, if you don't feel secure within yourself and your abilities, again, with this Taurus energy as well, it will hold on to things and it'll cling on to things outside of itself for that false sense of security and safety. And so at the time of this full moon, I think it's a huge releasing and a huge surrender to ways that we've operated in the past, to outdated beliefs and stories and just emotional responses to things that we hold so true and like we've taken on and like claimed them as our own. I think at this time it's like a washing clean of the emotional body and a need to go inward, maybe for some, and to take inventory on their emotional state and like just being really conscious of your emotional reactions and your triggers to things and all of the situations and the experiences that are coming up right now. It's like giving you an opportunity to heal on a deeper level, right? To notice what the triggers are, to notice what your like gut reactions are to things. Not like your intuition, but it's like maybe you're triggered by something that happens outside of you, like a quick reaction, and then you can take a step back and you can really watch that, and you can consciously choose, you know, how you how you want to be, how you want to be seen in the outer world, how you want to show up in the outer world as we move through all of this Capricorn energy. So I think it can feel really shaky, like the ground underneath you is transforming. It can feel like it's being burnt down, like there is nothing solid to stand on, maybe. If you didn't build these things in integrity, if they weren't built in truth and in integrity, then they're gonna be torn down. They're going to be brought to the ground so that you can transform a certain area of your life. And you want to look to see where this is happening in your chart. Where is 22 degrees of Cancer and Capricorn energy? What house is that falling in your chart? And then you'll get a better idea, a better understanding of how it could be showing up for you. But at the time of this full moon, I just want to speak to, we've had Venus in Aquarius. Venus has been moving through Aquarius, and it has been making a positive aspect to Juno as well. So I think that there's been a lot of conversation around our values, Venus in Aquarius. What are your values? What's important to you? What do you want in relationship? Relationship is a huge thing right now. It seems like a lot of, endings and beginnings, like karmic cycles coming to an end. And I think there's a lot of fear around that for sure, because it's been so deeply rooted within you for so long that it can be hard to let that transformation take place. But ultimately, again, these changes that are happening right now, it's exactly what's needed. Like, so viewing it from the soul's perspective, that your soul chose these experiences, your soul chose to be here at this point in time, to go through these aspects in the astrology, to go through the current experiences that you're having. Maybe it's within relationship, maybe it's within your job, maybe it's within your home life, whatever area of your life it's showing up in. Again, you can look to what area of your chart this is taking place in, but to give you more insight on that. But for all of us, we're being asked what is important to us, right? The Capricorn energy is what's important to you. Where do you want to focus your energy? What do you want to commit to? And like I said, I think there's been a lot of conversation in regards to relationships and what that looks like. Venus in Aquarius wants to talk about what their values are. They want to talk about what type of relationships make sense to them. They want to have that conversation, and they want to figure it out on their own, right? Aquarius energy is not going to conform to societal norms. That's like their exact function, is to almost rebel against society and not do the opposite of what society's doing, but to really figure out what it is that makes sense to them. And they don't give a fuck how other people receive that, what other people think about it. And so I think we've had this really beautiful aspect happening as Venus has been trining Juno more closely, and now it's kind of moving out of orb. But we've been able to have a lot of conscious conversations, or even just like the thought processes within ourselves in regards to the types of relationships that we want, what our values are. And it's shifting, right? Like the foundation of our life is shifting. What's important to us is shifting. How we express that in the outer world, it's shifting. Like, this time period it really is, and I feel like I say that, or probably all astrologers are like, oh, this is a huge time, but this really is a huge fucking time. Like, Saturn and Pluto, they have never been together in our lifetimes in Capricorn. They come together about every 35-ish years, and all throughout history, their coming together is marked by huge historical events, whether it's 9/11, it's World War I, it's the abolition of slavery. It's like all these huge fucking events throughout history when these planets come together. And so this is taking place globally. As you can see, the world is like, shit's happening. Australia's on fire. Like, the government, societies are crumbling. Like, boundaries are clashing. We cannot continue going on the way that we've been going on, globally, collectively, and individually within ourselves. It's like the Capricorn energy is very detached. It's very matter of fact. It's very to the point. It can see things very clearly. It's not the opposite energy of Cancer is your emotions. It's getting emotionally attached to things. It's the emotional stories and the feelings in the body. Capricorn is not about that. It's about doing work here on this material realm, on this physical realm. Without the Capricorn energy, we would have nothing here. There would be no physical reality. We would just be living in the, in the other realms, which is all great and fine. People that have a lot of water energy, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, like it's easy for them to live in those realms, but you need the grounded earth energy to actually to do something with that, to do something with the downloads that we get to bring it down here to earth and to build with that information. And so at the time of this full moon, having Jupiter conjunct the South Node, let's just walk through all of this energy here. Jupiter and the South Node together, it's like an expansion of our past, quite literally. It's seeing our past more clearly. It's expanding on the past, seeing it for what it is, just taking responsibility, taking accountability for your past, seeing how you've operated, seeing the ways that you've done things in the past, and knowing that there's a transformation happening in your life within like how you operate, how you show up in this physical reality. And with Mercury crossing over the sun, it's like bringing this information to the sun on the sun, ourselves, our ego, our sense of self, on what it is that we need to where we need to focus our energy, what we need to commit to. It's like, who is coming with us on this journey now moving into 2020? Who are the people, like who's on the boat with us? Who are the people that we need? Where do we need to focus our attention? Like we don't have time and we don't have space in this boat to bring all of the shit from 2019, to bring the relationships, the jobs, the places of living, the family, all of this shit that's just that we can't take with us anymore. Like we're detaching, we're breaking free from our old existence, our old reality in really, really big ways. Like this year, I think it's a historical moment, these planets coming together. But I think on an individual level, we're going to be viewing this time in our lives as like, sure, maybe all the shit's hitting the fan. Pluto and Saturn. Pluto wants to bring everything up to the surface. All of the darkness, everything that's been hidden, everything that's been buried, let's go down there into the depths, into the pits of hell, and bring it up to the surface and look at it. Like, oh, this is your shadow self. This is your codependent behaviors. This is the way you've been sabotaging yourself or relationships or your job, or this is how you've not been showing up because of fear, because of abandonment issues, because of trauma, because of whatever. Like, here it is. Let's look at it. Okay. Pluto doesn't give a fuck how it's not comfortable. This process is not comfortable. Pluto is not, it's not about comfort. It's about evolution, right? Pluto is the sign of evolution. It's your soul's evolution at all costs. And so we're going into the depths and we're bringing this stuff up and we're looking at it. We're facing our own shit. We're facing reality. And then we're needing to transform it, to transmute it, right? Ultimately, that's the energy of Pluto. It wants transformation. It wants evolution. It wants you to face your shit. It doesn't care how uncomfortable it is for your ego to look at all the ways that you've been acting out of alignment, not in integrity, sacrificing yourself. It wants you to face your shit and to own who you are. And I'm feeling like at this time of the full moon that there could also be a lot of guilt and shame and repressed feelings coming up to the surface. Capricorn energy and Saturn in particular, it can feel like a heavy repressive energy, like you're being pressed down. You can't fully express. So there could be parts of you that feel that you've been denying for a long time, right? That you haven't been owning all the parts of yourself. You haven't been wanting to claim this, like, this is me, this is my truth, because Cancer polarity, because you've been afraid of other people rejecting you. You've been afraid you're not going to be supported. You've been afraid of, just how other people are going to receive it, or you don't feel confident enough in yourself to stand in your truth and to own who you are. So you're not going to openly share it with other people if you don't have that solid foundation, right? Cancer, is the bottom of our chart. It's the foundation. So if we don't tend to our emotional body, if we don't take care of the foundation, then we can't do the upper half of the chart. We can't move out into the world. We can't leave the Cancer crab shell because we don't feel safe within ourselves. So at the time of this full moon, I think it's a washing clean. It's a washing clean. It's a releasing of all of these stuck emotions that we've been holding on to, these old patterns around why you can't do things or why you can't claim who you are, why you need to feel guilt or feel shame. Maybe it's coming from the family. Cancer rules the family. So maybe it's the family's guilt or shame or ancestral down the fucking line that's been passed down to you, and you've been carrying this weight, this emotional heaviness around like who you think you need to be in the outer world. And yeah, and feeling hearing so much feeling the guilt and feeling the shame around what your life needs to look like. And so I think at this time it's a washing clean of those emotional stories, the ways in which you've been denying yourself, aspects of yourself. And Saturn and Pluto coming together, it wants you to face yourself. It wants you to face your current reality, to face the point in time that you're in, to take responsibility, to take accountability, and to make conscious decisions on how you want to be moving forward, because we are committing to something huge at this time. We're committing to a new way of life. We're committing to a new expression of ourselves. We're committing to our work. We're committing to a relationship with ourselves or with another person. We're committing to something big in our lives right now, whether it's happening on a more internal level or a more external level for you. Again, this is going to depend on how it's how it's aspecting your individual chart. So if you want to book a reading with me, I can walk you through how this is showing up for you. But I think for all of us, it's a huge time of transformation, and it's a huge releasing of old emotions, old stories that we've told ourselves, and we're committing to something new, something that we're wanting to build for many years to come. Like throughout 2020, I think we're going to be continuing to kind of solidify this foundation. It's like laying one brick at a time as we, Capricorn, the mountain goat, slowly climbing to the top of the mountain. But first it has to take all the things that it needs. It's like the backpack. It's got the thing on its back with all the shit in it that it needs. Like, we're figuring out the people, the resources that we need so that we can begin. We're beginning a new journey. We're beginning a long new journey. And in order to go on that journey, we have to be really clear with ourselves and what it is that's important to us, what we value above all else, what we want to commit to, what we want to build on, what our dharmic work is here is the highest expression of it. And I pulled some cards. I got, I'll just share these real quick. I got the Star, the World, and I also got the King of Pentacles. So here he is. So yeah, so despite the heaviness and the chaos, or, people have said it feels like a pressure cooker, like the walls are closing in on you, boundaries are clashing, like despite the external chaos that's going on, internal chaos as well, possibly. On the other side of it, it's like, this is an ending of a cycle. It's like a completion. Yeah, full moon. It's a completion. We're ending an old expression of ourselves, and we're clear. We're getting really clear on what it is, who it is that we are, what it is that we need moving forward. And we're going to be asked to build upon this throughout this next year and many years to come. Like right now, we're choosing what our truth is. We're choosing what it is that we want to commit to. And we're going to have to continue to show up every fucking day throughout this year. It's going to look different each day. Some days showing up for yourself looks a little different than others, but we're going to need to continue to show up and to put in this work and to focus on what it is that we're choosing right now, that we're choosing, that we want to build on, that we want to focus our time and energy on. Yeah, and ultimately, as well, lots of ultimately. This is an intense time. Okay, one other thing. Chiron is trining Mars over here. So again, what it is that we're choosing, I think it's the direction that we're moving in right now is touching a deep part of ourselves that needs healing in regards to who we are, to our sense of self or identity, who we want to be moving forward. And it's going to take conscious work to show up in this new way for ourselves. But every day, that's what we're doing, right? We're reaffirming our reality. We're reaffirming who we want to be, and how we want to be, how we want to take up space in the world, the type of interactions we want to entertain, where we want to focus our energy. It's just like, it's very clear. It's very clear, concise, like what is for you, what is not for you. Capricorn is not like, oh, let me weigh the options. Capricorn is like, this is what I need. This is what I need you to do. This is what I need to, get all my things ready to move to the top of the mountain. Like it's very clear and very direct, very assertive. So I think that's where we're at right now. We're choosing what is for us, what our truth is. And some of the aspects, like I think Venus in Aquarius is helping us to be more detached and to see it from a more objective space, and then to consciously understand like the direction that we're moving in right now. Mars and Sag and Chiron and Aries is going to be healing a deep primal wound that we have in regards to our identity and how we take up space in the outer world. And so, I think it's just reaffirming this new reality that we want to be a part of, that we're choosing to be a part of as we move into 2020. We're choosing what we want to commit to, what we want to build on, where we want to focus our energy, and we're laying that foundation like brick by brick throughout this whole year. It's going to be building on something completely new. Okay. Whew, that is all for now. I hope that this was helpful. I hope this supports you at the time of this full moon, this lunar eclipse, and the Saturn Pluto conjunction that's kind of all mushed together happening around the same time. So just to understand that there's a lot happening in the astrology right now, that you're not crazy, even if you're feeling all of the things. I mean, collectively, there's a lot of energy. So understanding that a lot of what you're feeling probably isn't even yours, and just letting it be there, not like holding on and clinging to these crazy emotions or thoughts that could be coming through, but just like watching them and having fun, like laughing at them, and being interested in what they're here to show you, if anything. So okay, I hope that this was helpful. If you'd like to book a reading with me, you can do so through my site at cosmicguidance.online. I would love to hold space for you and to read your chart and to see where all of this energy is showing up for you, where the Cancer Capricorn polarity is, and how you can best move through that. Okay, that's all. Happy full moon to everybody.